Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in today's edition of the Gripe Session. We definitely appreciate it. First things first, if you find any value to this podcast or anything else that we do me a favor. You got to share it. You got to let people know on social media that you're listening to the Gripe Session, that we got some great value for you. And not only that, if you happen to do anything having to do with real estate, it's very, very simple. That's what I do every single day. So do me a favor, hit me up, whether it be via email, whether it be my cell phone, or just quite honestly, send up a smoke signal if you have to. But if you found any value in the Gripe Session, then do me a favor, you got to reach out to me, let me know, and we would definitely appreciate it. And with that, let's get into it.
It's Gripe Session time with your host, George Wanaka.
It's about nothing.
Discussing everything from real estate, current events, a little bit of everything, and the annoying little things that just tick you off.
You can't handle the truth.
What? You didn't know?
Here's your host, George Wanaka.
Your ass better call somebody.
So today's Gripe Session is about something that's been just, to be honest with you, it's been agitating. It's been growing on me. It's been getting worse. It's like this Gripe Session, right? It just like, it festers and it turns into something and it morphs into something bigger. So what exactly am I talking about? I continuously hear nowadays about housing affordability in New York. And you hear it, it's a thing with all of the politicians. They all like to talk about housing affordability because, quite honestly, it's a buzzword. It's their way of attempting to try to get you to vote for them. But here's the problem. Housing affordability is definitely something that needs to be addressed. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, that most of the politicians don't understand that they're the reason that housing affordability is through the roof. Now, let me explain to you why they either don't get it or, quite honestly, they probably just don't care about it. The first reason why housing affordability is through the roof is based on all of their spending programs. Specifically, in New York, Democrats control a lot of the legislature, whether it be the city council in New York City or whether it be up in Albany, the assembly legislature. Now, all of these wonderful programs, which, by the way, everybody has their hands out wanting their own slice of that pie, contribute to the reason why housing affordability is at an all-time high. Let me explain why. Because all of those programs have to come from somewhere. Well, we're going to get right back to the Gripe Session podcast, but before we do, we got to have a word from our sponsors over here at bestguyever.com. Make sure you never forget an important date ever again. Never forget any important dates with your wife, your daughter, your sister, your mother, or your mother-in-law for that matter. We want you here to be the bestguyever.com. And by the way, bestguyever.com helps your local small businesses. So it is a win-win for you. Not only can you be the bestguyever.com for those people that love you, but you can also support your local small businesses because bestguyever.com only deals with local small businesses. That's right. So make sure you get to www.bestguyever.com and subscribe. And by the way, let them know that you found out from us from the Gripe Session podcast. And because you're coming from the Gripe Session, we were able to get you a little bit of a deal for them as well. What's that deal, you say? Well, once you register, put in Gripe Session in the promo code. That's Gripe Session. And you're going to get 1 year free subscription to be the best guy ever. That's right. 1 free subscription by putting in Gripe Session in your promo code, and you're going to get a year for free. You can't have it any better than that. So make sure you go check out bestguyever.com and let them know the Gripe Session pulled you in. And now, back to our local program. Now, in New York City, the reason why our real estate property taxes, or what based on the laws, what real estate taxes are supposed to be is the difference of what comes down from Albany and funnels into New York from a tax dollars perspective, and the difference between that amount and our remaining debts. That's where your property taxes are from. Now, we've talked about on this podcast a lot about the real estate taxes in New York City and how they need to be redone because they're antiquated, they're not fair. So we're going to move that off to the side for a minute. But so just so you understand, those real estate taxes, however, are because we've got all of these other high programs, and there are a variety of them. It's not just one agency, it's multiple agencies that whether they're not useful, they're understaffed, they don't do the job that they were set out to do. Shocking with government, I know, which is what raises our real estate taxes. Now, what raises the real estate taxes, that is going to have a direct effect on the affordability, not just for people looking to buy a home for them to be in, but for people looking to invest in real estate, create generational wealth, mom and pops. If you have higher real estate taxes, then what happens with the rent? Oh, that's right, the rent needs to go up. Just like the rent goes up, there are other utilities and things such as water and sewer, as there is nothing more than increases on water and sewer. Where do you think pays for the water and sewer? Well, it's very simple. The potential tenants and the real estate. Those numbers go up. Guess what else goes up? The rent in relation to water and sewer going up as well. And I'm going to give you another component to housing affordability. I've not heard one person talk about it. I've not heard a politician talk about it whatsoever. And it's the fact that in New York, especially in the city, trying to get rid of a tenant that has not paid you any rent is almost impossible. Now, how does that affect affordability, George? Well, it's very, very easy to tell you this. If there are not enough houses out there because there are people living in properties that are not paying rent, which means taxes still need to be paid and water and sewer needs to get paid, owners are going to look to do what? Recoup that loss, if possible. Because the city wants their money regardless. They want their tax money regardless. They want their water and sewer money regardless, right? The housing stock, which there's not enough of now, according to what they tell you, is right. Because why? Because those apartments are not coming back online to the market because they're tied up, because somebody's being given a directive, and the only reason I can say this is because there's no legislative act that says how long somebody has to give in order when they stop paying rent to get out. I challenge anybody that listens to this, watches this down the road, please show me some legislative act that says that people can stay into properties longer than they are. And this is where this is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to give you a better example of this. Hey, we're just going to take a real quick break from the Grape Session. We're going to get right back to it, but we want to bring you another word from one of our sponsors here, which is searchstatinisland.com. Yes, one of the things that I do every single day is I'm a real estate practitioner. I am a licensed realtor. I am a appraiser. I'm also a mortgage broker. So why do you ask any of those questions? Well, quite frankly, because if you have any questions on real estate in any part of the country, all you have to do is reach out to me. Go to www.searchstatinisland.com or find me on the social media platforms. And there's a very good opportunity that I'll be able to help you regardless of whether or not if you're in New York where I'm home based, or if you're someplace out in, whether it be Utah or Texas or somebody out there, there's a very good chance that I will be able to help you regardless, because I have contacts throughout the country and I would be able to make sure my clients are always taken care of. So make sure you check out www.searchstatinisland.com. And now back to our program. If you take out a car loan on your car and you don't pay the car loan, what happens? Well, I can tell you what happens. Not from personal experience, mind you. The repo man happens. He just comes and takes the car. We need to think about this for a second, right? They come and take the car because it's their property because you missed a number of payments. They just come and take it. Why is it that when we're talking about real estate, that they're allowed to stay in properties, a lot more money than a car, mind you, for an extended period of time, but on a car note, they can take the car right away? Now, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So hopefully one of you that listen to this or somebody that watches this down the road can explain to me why there's such a difference in cars and real estate. There's another reason having to do with affordability. And yes, those are centered on economic actions such as interest rates rising, labor shortages, things of that nature, people having a hard time finding jobs, all part of the problem. However, the main part of the problem is the legislators with the programs that are out there that do nothing for the majority of the taxpayers, and who gets stuck paying the bill? You do, and I do. Now, we all understand that doesn't seem fair, and quite honestly, it's really not. But here's the real issue. I saw something the other day. It was Warren Buffett, and he was on somebody's program, and he made the statement that government doesn't solve any problems whatsoever, because the only way to get government to solve a problem is to go in and say, if you don't solve the problem, you're out of a job. Doesn't make a difference if you're not addressing the problem. Now, you can talk about there's a lot of different problems that need to be solved, and that's true as well. But the problem is some people don't want to solve the problem, because as soon as they solve the problem, they're out of office. So it's called job security, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we all love job security, but maybe the people looking for job security shouldn't be there in the first place. That's today's edition of the Gripe Session, talking about housing affordability. If you got any value from the Gripe Session today, please do me a favor, share it with somebody, share it on your social media, let people know about it. We definitely appreciate it. We've been picking up a lot more downloads, a lot more listens lately, and I really appreciate all of those people letting people know about this. If you're watching us, you want to reach out to me for a specific topic, listen, reach out to me on the social medias that you see right over there. Anytime you have a question on something, I'll be happy to try to answer it for you. So make sure you do one thing. Do something nice today for somebody you wouldn't normally do, and we'll catch you on the next edition of the Gripe Session. Peace. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Gripe Session. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.